Ah! Hello, in the future, from the past. This, as usual, is the DDG Garage Sunday streaming special, whatever that means. And we're right on time as usual. Hey, Lovejoy, how you doing? Did you find me a chunk of pipe yet? I want to know how this camera keeps getting smudged. Like, why would I ever touch it? Crazy. R Hill is here. Hello, R Hill. Says, Jamie, that CUDA drive today was great. And good evening. Yeah, awesome. Thanks. It's kind of funny. I have like 7 videos made right now. Somehow I got out ahead of it. And so this morning I woke up and I was like, what am I releasing today? And I settled on the CUDA video, but I hadn't even started editing it. So, yeah, right on time as usual, you know. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an awesome car. Again, as usual, it's a customer car, so I did not rub the piss out of it, test it thoroughly, no burnouts, no bang shifting, especially with the rebuilt tranny and brand new clutch. But, yeah, it's a cool car for sure. That was a good time. Mr. PF Flyer is here with us again. Hello. How you doing there? What's good in the neighborhood? Lovejoy got called into work this weekend, so I haven't had a chance to look for a good piece. But I did find the stack of scrap pipe. Sweet. Well, it's not like I'm in a hurry. I think my next move is going to be put the car on the lift again. Trying not to ruin the new hub I randomly found at the junkyard. Change the lug studs out so I can get the other slot mag on. Get all of the lug nuts on. Wheels torqued. Brakes bled. The steering is like dangerously loose. So I think I have to put an idler arm and an inner tie rod on it or something. Excuse me. And then I don't know if you saw the new Barracuda video from yesterday, but I realized there's a perfectly good slant 6 exhaust on that Volari. So I think I'm just going to take that, probably do the cat delete, since I do not need it on the 67. And then I'll have an exhaust. So, yeah, if I had brakes and exhaust, I could actually start driving it around town and testing it out, you know, shaking it down, which would be really cool. And then I'll probably get back to the interior. I want to order some soundproofing. I want to do that. I think I'm going to build a headliner. It's my genius plan anyway. Alex is here and says, woo! Which is how I open the show. Hey, all praise. How you doing? Sunday again. It comes faster and faster every week. I don't know what it is. I just reached a point in life where life shoots by like a rocket. Dan Tupper, of course, is here. Hello, Dan. How you doing? You send me more Barracuda pictures yet? I don't know if any of you guys are in the Pacific Northwest A-Bodies group. I put out a call looking for small bolt wheels. I really wanted a set of Kragers to match what's on the Demon, but no Kragers yet. But a good few people have responded to me, and so now I think I'm cornering the market on small bolt wheels in the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, if you're hiding any small bolt pattern 5-on-4 Kragers, you know, bigs and littles in your back lot, let me know. Mr. PF Flyer says there's an interesting auction coming up in Sherman, Texas through Duncan's Auctions near the end of March. What kind of stuff? Classics? Government surplus trucks? I've never heard of Duncan's Auctions. It's not one of the big, huge national ones. So, Stage Zero Garage is here. Stage Zero Garage, of course, the proud new owners of my 79 Stepside truck. It finally did leave yesterday. Now, I told you guys the last several weeks that was going to happen. That's Jason. Jason came and picked it up, and he's going to drive it home. But he's actually hanging out in the Seattle area, changing fluids, checking the tire pressures, that sort of thing. And so far, he seems to be very pleased with the truck. So that's pretty cool. But I'm sure he's going to be doing video driving it at home. And it's going to be one of the first features on his new channel, Stage Zero Garage, right there. So if you guys want to see more on that truck and what he's going to do with it, follow him there. Anyway, he says, hello. It was awesome to meet you in person. Getting the personal tour of your shop when I grabbed the truck. Yeah, that was awesome. Very cool. Glad you weren't some weirdo. No, I personally enjoyed. So he was here with his uncle, I believe it is, and they walked in, and you guys have seen there's some cool stuff in the garage, and so they were kind of looking toward the Charger, and then he noticed the supercharged Studebaker Hawk, the white car, in the background, and he just went and looked at that and took pictures and stuff. That was pretty fun. If you guys don't know that's here still, I did a video on it called the Forever Project. It must have been in June because it was before the shop closed, May or June. I still have it here. It's in the background of every video. The engine is back in it. I really just have to button up the last few things and do the engine break-in on it. So yeah, it was super, super dumb. Somebody at the machine shop welded a balance weight to the pressure plate of the clutch, and it hit the bell housing inside, so the engine wouldn't turn over. Super neat. Anyway, rest assured I'm making a video on that, and you'll be seeing it. Dan Tupper says he'll send me more Barracuda pictures Tuesday. Awesome. Alex says, life does move quickly. I'll be 30 in May, and my body is reminding me daily. Yeah, I have this traveling pain thing. Sometimes it's my neck. There's a weird tweak in my neck sometimes right here. Sometimes it's either hip or either knee. But lately I've realized my left knee, especially toward the end of the day, I'll just be walking and it kind of it wobbles out from under me. So that's cool. I'm only turning 33 this year, so what the hell? But yeah, on and on it goes. I mentioned the last couple of weeks, my mom just got her first knee replaced. She had super terrible arthritis and basically couldn't really walk for the last several years. So I have a feeling that'll be in my future. Mr. PF Fire says on that auction in Sherman, Texas, not muscle cars, older GM, Ford, Mopar. We'll look at the list for military trucks. Well, older stuff is cool. Yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere near to Sherman, Texas, but it would be cool to see what's there. It's kind of Tom's thing. He's always looking at estate sales and auctions all over the place, and he's on Bring a Trailer, and he's on eBay, and it's he just keeps track of what's going on, and I try not to do that. For one thing, it just makes me want to buy more stuff that I can't afford. Honcho's house is here and says, holy cow, this is great. I put a cheap Bluetooth radio in the daily AMC, so now I can tune into Dead Dodge Garage on the road, right now. Oh, that's awesome, Honcho. Nicely done. I've been putting nice radios and everything. I'm going to put a fancy double din in my Barracuda. I think you all know I bought a Corolla. No one really cared, but I bought a Corolla and I did a video on it, and I immediately put the fancy Apple CarPlay double din touchscreen in that, which I love. Then I realized I don't really like the car at all, and I especially don't like the transmission. I'm just kind of getting tired of it. So last week I bought a very, very cheap 2015 Subaru Impreza, and it too has the fancy touchscreens and the Bluetooths, and yeah, it's really nice. And that one's got heated leather and an automatic, technically a CVT. So I think I'm going to sell the Corolla. But I'm very big on Bluetooth in daily drivers. In my classic, the Charger, that one might get a Bluetooth head in the stereo, and in the glove box, and really only because it already has a head in there and it's wired for speakers. The Barracuda, because I'm planning to drive it every day, everywhere. The Demon will never get anything like that. The Drag Race Barracuda, nope. My wife's wagon used to have a stereo head in it. I don't know who stole that, but I might put one in that too. Anyway, very cool. Hey, I see 26 of you are out there now. If you haven't said anything, please do that. Say hello. Tell us what you're drinking for the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game. If you want to, tell us how old you are and how your knees are feeling. Stuart Powell is here and says, "Sup, dude? What color is the dash metal where the VIN tag is on your Charger? Mine's rusty. Looking to redo while I have the windshield out." Well, it's just like a flat black, a matte black of some kind. Yeah. But my car is, well, it's white interior with a black dash, so hold on. It's 68. Yeah, it's up on the dash. Yeah, sorry. Brain farted. 67, it's still down in the... You know what I'm trying to say. Ross says, anything. I want to say Ross did that last week, too. Frank Lentz says, 70 Super B, Coors Light. Cheers, my friend. I like the 70 Super B a lot. I think the first one I was really aware of course, was David Freiberger's car. And I do have his shirt with the Super B on it. One of my favorites, actually. That one's got holes worn in it for sure. And I think one elbow's blown out on it. Yeah. I'm not throwing it away. Alex says, are you really from the Pacific Northwest if you don't own at least one Subaru? Okay, Ross, it must have been somebody else. Somebody last week I said, feel free to say anything or say something in the comments. Somebody did that. Fair enough. Alex, it's funny because my wife has the red Subaru Outback 2013. Our roommate, Ben, has a, it might be a 2014 Crosstrek, the slightly higher one, but it's also the hybrid model. Not that that does much. Yeah, so now I have the 2015 Impreza, and it's the same color blue. So anyway, I've always, okay, not always. I've long wanted a GL wagon for the, the selectable four-wheel drive, do the lift kit, small truck tires, roof basket, the whole nine, And I'm really tempted to lift this Impreza and do that. But I kind of like it as a car. So, yeah, now I need another Subaru. Alan's Cars and Stuff is here and says, hello, 53, and these are still okay. Awesome. Very cool. I think, okay, yeah, judging by the following responses, and I will get to everybody's. I think the vast majority of our viewership, there are people in my age bracket, good few of them, but I think the vast majority of viewers on my channel are in the 50 to 65 range. And I know that because I have YouTube analytics and it tells me it's almost exclusively older white men. It just is what it is. They're the muscle car generation. Stuart Powell says, flat black it is, what I thought. Yeah, it's some kind of matte black. The whole dash is. And it kind of almost has like a texture to it too, I think. Like, not that it's texture paint, but like it feels sandy. Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure it does. Oh, cool. Franklin says his is also original Go Mango. Original paint. Nice. That's cool. My Demon's in original paint, and it will never get painted. It needs a couple little rust repairs, and those will get done at some point and fogged in with touch-up paint that matches as best as possible, because I am not getting rid of the original belt buckle rash on the fender, the original wear marks from the car wash, the little dings and scrapes and stuff. Now, it stays forever. And it's presentable. Mr. PFR says, 62, knees good despite working in the auto repair trade. Only a couple years to do till retirement. Now, the feet are worn out. Yeah. So when I started as a mechanic, I wore Vans or Converse, and that was rough on concrete. And then I got turned on to the whatever the hell they are. What are they called? They got the scorpion on them. The Redbacks, the Australians. And that has made a big difference. Plus, I always replace the insoles when they start getting worn out. So I'm doing pretty well on that. But yeah, I also wrecked a motorcycle once. And basically when I landed, my other computer just turned on, so now there will be even more reflection in the glasses. That's great. When I landed, the bike was like on my left knee, kind of like my leg was half folded and I was almost standing up and the bike was here. And so I have to wonder if that's related. I don't know. I haven't seen a doctor in a long time. I might need to do that. But yeah, knees, the end of the day, my knees are not happy. And any day that I have to spend entirely leaning over an engine compartment, kind of the same thing. Our Hill says, I'm 59, drinking vodka and soda water. Right on. Have really been enjoying your back catalog of videos. Awesome. Very cool. I have made a lot. I just saw the count. I think I'm at 251 total now, but that includes, hold on, let me check. 253. Huh. That went faster than I thought. 253. But that includes live streams, which I, of course, do weekly now. That includes the shorts, which I haven't done in a long time, but I did a good few of those. But my big playlist, the Dead Dodge Garage main playlist, I think is 160 videos, something like that. So there are a lot of them. And I have been seeing that a lot of my back catalog is getting more views lately. I kind of hoped that would happen. And here's why. I think I've made some pretty good stuff over the last year. Like some of it's pretty fun. And I just didn't have the following, so none of it got the respect that I feel, it deserves, or the views. So anyway, I appreciate you doing that, and I hope more people do it. Of course, all of my crap, for the most part, I didn't used to monetize every video. Almost all of it is monetized, so when I get views on them, sure, it's just a few cents here or there, but it helps, And now that I have, again, like 200 plus, this one gets viewed, this one gets viewed, this one gets viewed, and it's kind of like a residual thing. Like even when my newest videos aren't doing the best, which they have been lately, it still kind of keeps rolling, so that's cool. What is this mustache hair doing? You guys see that? It's crazy. You got to get out of here, guy. That didn't work. I guess we're just stuck with it. All Praise says, I'm 58, knees doing okay. I bought one of those teeter tables that you lay on and flip upside down. Works wonders for my ankles, knees, hips, and lower back. Huh, that's interesting. I've not done that, and I really haven't done any like exercising or working out or so much as like running for a long time. I was super into riding a bicycle in my early 20s, and then I got a motorcycle and it was all over. And I've pretty much almost never ridden a bike since. And I kind of like to get into that again because I know I'm in okay shape, but I get winded pretty fast. And I'm afraid that if I don't start taking care of myself, it's all going to go downhill. Ross says, I'm 60. My mom just turned 60 yesterday, for context. Right knee has had 3 Euflexa injections and 3 PRP injections in the last 3 months. See, I don't know which one they did with her. They tried injections and it just didn't do fuck all, basically. I feel like I missed one. Oh, no, I got it. We're good. Lovejoy says, 21, supposedly due for a knee surgery at 24. According to my doctor, my knees have an expiration date. Wow. All right. Yeah, that's brutal. Ouch. Alex says, 29. Knees are ruined. Thanks, Army. Yamato Shinjin Whiskey. I don't know that one. I've only just realized Noah's not here. That's weird. I wonder what Noah's doing. Oh, damn. Our Hill says, I had a stroke a few years back, but I'm here. Man, that sucks. I'm glad you pulled through. I was just at band practice. I'm playing in a cover band now. And so I was there from 2 to right before I went live, basically. That's why I'm right on time as usual. And Craig, whose house we were at, he had a stroke, I think, last year. It was a pretty minor one. It basically affected his vision, which is ironic because he was an optometrist. He was my optometrist. I still haven't gotten my glasses updated since he retired. He had to retire. He did bounce back. I think his vision ended up still being a little on the fuzzy side, but it did get better. But yeah, that's scary stuff. M1 is here and says, hey, what's up? Well, I'm 57 and I feel it every day I get up with the work I do, but I still love working on my car every weekend. Yeah, awesome. Now, I'm sure I believe you. Ross says, shit, left knee. Well, either way, I mean, one of them not doing super good. Frank says, 60-year-old knee's good. Right on. Lovejoy says, not drinking tonight because I forgot to go to the store and I ran out last week. I still have, well, I guess I'm down to 2 from last week. I don't always drink. Honcho's house says 30 here. Okay, right around my age. Knees are trashed. Kind of cave inwards and grind. Ugh, mine doesn't grind. It's just like, I don't know. Like I say, it's weird. It's just like wobbly. Like all of a sudden it'll just want to go whoop, like that. But so do my ankles and other joints, so that's why, I think. Gotcha. Take care of your feet, boys. Yeah, how'd you guys hurt your feet? I mean, mechanicking or jumping off of stuff or... Yeah, curious. Again, because you're my age, so sports? Roy Boy says, us Mopar guys are mostly graybeards these days. Yeah, I've only gotten a couple grays in mine. This is like peachy stuff that just never changed colors. I got that skunk stripe. I've got gray up here. And my hairline is starting to go, which is kind of weird. I don't know if you can see that really, but it's super common. The men in my family have like the pickle fork all the way back to here. And my brother's got it more severely than I do. So, you know, I'm prepared for it emotionally. Just a little gray so far. Jimbo321 says, I'm 62. Knees are great. Awesome. Good. Congrats. Do you run a thermoquad on any of your rides? I don't yet. And the thing is, I really like them. Have I really done any thermoquad videos? I don't think I have. I reconditioned, repaired, fixed the leaks, and tuned one on a 340 Challenger at Rocket. But I don't think I did a video on that. I can't remember. Anyway, no, I don't. I've actually, and this is going to sound funny, I've strongly considered putting the factory thermoquad back on my Demon. Which is something Dale suggested when I was having problems with the Edelbrock that's on it, until I got my head wrapped around that. And honestly, at this point, I really like Edelbrocks. It's funny, people drop into my comments and say, throw it away, put a Holly on it. I kind of like it. Originally, that was my plan until I figured out how they work. And now it's like, dude, I can make a needle change in 10 seconds. I can change the springs. I can change the secondary opening point, which is very helpful for throttle response. So I kind of like them. Thermoquad, you could do a lot of the same stuff. And I actually have an old school thermoquad tune-up kit too that came with my my Demon. But no, I don't have a thermoquad on anything currently. I plan to eventually because I do really like them. But no, I don't. Maybe. Stage Zero Garage, who bought the step side, says 54. Knees fine after I stopped jogging. Buffalo Trace whiskey. Yes, dear. You hungry? Well, you better go get a snack. I'm live streaming. Did you ever get your Swiss rolls earlier? No. Well, you better hop up and get that. Oh. Why don't you ask your mom? There's still some pancakes on the counter.
I don't want those.
Wow. Okay. Oh, you found the warm spot. Okay, good luck.
Also, I got a present for you.
Oh, what is it? Would you turn that back on, please? No. No one can see me. Wow. Okay, now it's creepy and dark in here. That's quite strange. All right. Turn it on. I'm going to kick your butt. Wow. Angela Racino, I assume, is here and says, new to the channel, had Mopars all my life. Old Mopars. Love the channel. You make me laugh. Awesome. Well, glad I could do that. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you watching. As you can see, old Mopars are kind of my whole thing. And Dodge trucks. Wow, this is so dramatic. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just gloomy. Anyway, maybe I'll get up and fix that in a minute. Franklin says, I run a thermoquad on a 440 in my 75 FMC motor coach. Nice. Yes, I've had to work on a good few of them in motorhomes and vans. So, thank you, dear.
Mommy,
Wouldn't what?
wouldn't.
Okay, so slide a chair over there and get it yourself. I'm live streaming. What am I supposed to do? You climb your butt up there and get it. Wiggy's here, Wigwam Jones, and he says, howdy, y'all. 62 here. Knees full of arthritis, but don't hurt. Weird. Good thing, because I still teach karate. My heart is shot, though. Ouch. No more motorcycle riding for me. Balance is gone. Buy Dead Dodge Garage merch. Oh, yeah. I'm wearing my knot hat, my beanie today, and I'll probably be wearing it until June. I know a good few of the people here have gotten merch. So thank you for that. But if you're interested in putting Dead Dodge Garage on your person, sweet. Just hop over to deaddodgegarage.com and click the merch button. Stacy is here. Good evening, Stacy. How you doing? Michael Hatfield is here, and he says, you mentioned stance in the video today. We call them street freaks, high in the back and wide tires hanging out under the wheel wells. I have one, but won't mention the out of context brand. Oh, so it's a Ford then. Yeah, well, and street freak meant more than that too, though. Yeah, jacked up 70s style shackles, shock extensions, air shocks, helper springs, ginormous tires, lowered in the front. My 73 Challenger, when I got it, was like that. It even had slapper bars on it, which is silly for a Mopar. It had tires yay wide. They were under the quarters. I actually still have those. I think they're 10-inch wide slot mags, which is cool. I test fit one of them on my 68 Charger in one video. It's quite a while back. But yeah, Street Freak, and you probably know this because you were around in the day. Street Freak could have meant all kinds of things too, like something that looked like a gasser. I mean, it was just supposed to be wild, outlandish, ridiculous, but a street driving car. So there you go. Lovejoy says, did you approve my merch order last Monday? Yes, I did. It's in progress. And it's kind of funny. For some reason, I don't know if it's maybe your address is different than your credit card or something like that. It flagged your order for possible fraud. But I approved it anyway. Yeah, but last I saw, yours is still in progress. It's the only other one. Every other one's been completed. So I don't know what that's about. Anyway, some of them do seem to take longer. Stacy says, are we discussing ailments tonight? 47 here, and I have a funky ticker. I actually, well, what I asked about was knees specifically. I don't remember why. We were just talking about age catching up with you, and I just mentioned my left knee is kind of funky, and it doesn't usually hurt. But sometimes after working a full day, usually in the evening, it'll just kind of fold over. Like it just, boop, no support. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, funky ticker. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think I might have a heart murmur. Like sometimes I feel a weird little flutter. I should probably get that checked. Once again, I haven't seen a doctor in decades, so that should probably be on my list. I did have 8 teeth removed about a year ago. And that was good. Need to get them tuned up again. I got a couple cavities that were already there. Dan says, swim. Bicycles get whacked by cars. Yeah. Ouch. I'm not a swimmer. I barely can swim. Hey, 4080 out there now. If you haven't commented or anything, you should do that. Let us know what you're up to this weekend, what you're drinking, and if your knees hurt, and how old you are, if you want. We don't need to hurt any feelings, but many among the viewership are mid to upper 50s, so that's pretty common. And if you have not liked the stream, please do that because it's good for the YouTube stuff. Lovejoy says, neither is Caitlin, I noticed, or at least they haven't commented. No, I don't think she's here. That's weird. You're totally right. She definitely would have said something by now. Like, smash it! So I wonder what she's up to. Greg says, still the best YouTuber in the business. Thank you very much, Greg. I'm honored and flattered and all of those things. You're too kind. Stuart Powell says, 34, knees great, but when the sciatica kicks in, I'm out up to a month. Oof, yeah. Ouch. Ouch. Congrats on the Charger. I bought my 69 RT 2 years ago. It's a roadsteration. Love it. Awesome. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I love mine. Of course, I bought it in June. 68, not an RT, just a 383. I'm fine with that. I didn't need an RT. I did want a big block car. So I'm pleased with what I got. Excuse me. Oh, Ross says, horse fell on me, broke my left foot. Ouch. Mike J says, 61, knees are good, back is toast. Yeah. See, sometimes mine bothers me. And like I said, it's usually if I'm leaning over an engine compartment all day or if I'm hucking 40-pound bags of chicken food, which I did today. That can be a bit much too. Or picking up my almost 7-year-old. She doesn't seem to understand. We go places and she's like, Dad, I want up. Girl, you're huge. I can't carry you. It's going to kill me. Avon is here. This was 9 minutes ago because I'm right on time as usual. And says, I'm not late. You're late. Mr. PF Flyer. Yeah, well, me too. Mr. PF Flyer says, thermal quads get the bad rap after Chevy guys use an impact gun to put them back together. You know, I think the bodies just warp naturally. And they crack too. And then the biggest thing, that one that I did, and maybe I did do a video on that. I have no idea. Oh, I noticed, I don't know if anyone keeps track of this, but last week, for whatever reason, my profanity filter was turned off. I was listening back to the stream on Monday, and I was like, who is this? It's probably because there was Fireball in my drink. But yeah, anyway, they do seem to warp for fun. But the biggest thing is the well plugs. The dips under the main jets, they have those plugs that were glued on from the factory, and it just fails. And they start leaking, and you can go under there and just pop them off. So I have scraped them down and epoxied them in place, and that seems to work pretty well. Ken, I'm actually a Babe, I'm going to leave you guy, but I can't play it. Oh, I'm in drop. I can't sing either of them, so there you go. But yeah, Babe, I'm going to leave you is fantastic. Lovejoy says, Edelbrocks are great once you have a good understanding of how they fuck. What was that? Work. Hollies are a lot easier for the less experienced to set up. Lovejoy, I kind of have to, in my experience, and that's fair. I kind of have to disagree, and here's why. Every Edelbrock I've ever installed, now mind you, my experience is almost entirely street driving car, mild cam, stockish engine, small converter, you know, a regular driver. You throw an Edelbrock on and they just function. If you want to tweak them, yeah, there are tricks to that. Hollies I've had worse luck with just being good. Does that make sense? They seem to need tweaking. In fact, I mentioned in the CUDA video, every single double pumper Holly I've ever installed had a 28 squirter in the front, and they have a horrible, well, not horrible, but they have a stutter. You know, they don't just boom, they put, and you got to take that off and put on the 31. And then you got to tweak the pump, and then you probably need to rejet it, and then hopefully the power valve's right for your cam. And it's just like, I think Edelbrocks tend to be a better out-of-the-box solution. And if it's a street car or a truck, I think they're really good. I stand by that. Now that I do have a good understanding of how they work, I really like them. The one on my 68, I have not touched. I don't think anyone has. I think it's exactly as it came out of the box. And other than fuel boiling, which it does do because it's a big block, it works perfect. The choke is perfect. The cold idle is perfect. I might have tweaked the idle mixture screws. I think I did do that. And I tweaked the timing a little bit when I first got it. But it just works. So, yeah, that's how I feel about them. R. Hill says, love when you do your commenter voice. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you got to make sure you breathe through your mouth, too. Yes, my daughter is funny. She can be a bit of a jerk. I think I know where she gets it. Comes by it honestly. We fight like, what do they say, cats and kittens sometimes, because we're kind of just the same person. And neither of us is willing to admit defeat, basically. Even says when the lights are off, Dead Dutch Garage becomes a threat. Frank says, I don't have a knife handy. I don't really have anything threatening. I almost brought Prudence in the other day and I forgot, but I do have this Super Duck. He doesn't say anything. Frank says, rebuilt my thermoquad, first total rebuild of a carb, using a terrific set of priceless vids here on YouTube. Nice. I can't remember where I learned. I looked ahead in the comments. I can't remember where I learned about the well plug thing. It may have been Uncle Tony, because we've done this. My brother has like a stack of 5 of them and they're all junk. He had one that worked well. I don't think he's running it anymore. I think he's Edelbrocks on both of his cars now too, his Mopars. But he was super into the thermoquad for a while there. The problem was they're just always richening at idle. Like eventually they're just untunable, and that's why it's the leaking well plug thing. On that Challenger, now that I know, and I'd seen the videos on it and I'd experienced it enough times, now that I'm thinking about it, I fixed the same exact thing on a motorhome earlier last year. And I did do a video on that motorhome. I don't remember if I mentioned fixing the thermoquad or not. But once you know what it is, once you know that symptom, then you see a thermoquad car and it's smoking at idle and it just runs like shit. You know exactly what it is. It says well plug. So I got to make myself look really, really smart on that one. Unfortunately, the main body was also cracked. And it leaked gas. I think it leaked gas externally too. So yeah. Oh, but I was going to say on my Demon, I do have the original thermoquad, which is a 1-year only number. And it's like the most valuable thermoquad there is. It's silly, but yeah. And then I have one of the actual performance ones that you would have bought and dropped on your Chevy in place of the Rochester. It's the whole point of the thermoquad's existence before Chrysler adopted it in 71, with the lowest part number being the 340 4-speed, the one I have. Anyway, I have one of those, and it's either lightly used or brand new. I'm not totally sure, but it actually says thermoquad on the top with like a little flag. It's kind of cool. And it's got the universal adjustable throttle linkage on it. And then I think I have 3 or 4 other factory ones. I will put one on something eventually. I really do like them. They're cool. And on that same subject, Ross says, thermoquads are great. Set and forget. Very Edelbrock-esque. Hollies suck for stuff that sits for extended time. Yeah, they start leaking out everywhere. I don't really have that problem with the Edelbrock. Of course, you can have crap build up in any of them. I've cleaned out plenty of Edelbrock bowls. In fact, my wife's wagon, that's been a problem like 3 times. It ends up with this weird sediment sitting down in the carburetor, and all of a sudden, it's not able to get fuel through various circuits, and it's weird shit. And I go in there and clean it, top back on, and it's good to go. That was the last video I did on that wagon. Like, it just wouldn't idle anymore, and that fixed it. Kind of weird. Oh yeah. So what I was going to say, I think someone saw it last week, 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. I was wearing my thermoquad shirt and someone commented on it. Maybe that wasn't during the live. It was during a video. I don't know. Anyway, I have the thermoquad shirt, which I have to break out when I'm doing thermoquad stuff. And that is, of course, a David Freiberger roadkill thing. Clearly someone here watches them as well as me. Because Lovejoy says, Thermoquad, the only carburetor that punishes you for going full throttle. Yeah. Good times. Honcho's house. All carbs matter, except CCC quadrajets. What's CCC? Is that like the electronic feedback? I don't know what CCC is. Maybe you're making a noise like out of disgust. Quadrajets. I've had the most problem with anything really, with any type of carburetor, other than the Holley 1920. The Holley 1920 is a piece of garbage, and they need to die. And I've said that on video. I'll say it again. I stand by that. Some people have told me they're fine. Okay. My commenter voice again. Yeah, but quadrajets have definitely been a pain in my ass. I have had some that ran sweet. But yeah, I've had the biggest problem with those, I would say. Roy Boy wants to know, what's your fastest Mopar? That is my Demon. It's the only one that's remotely fast. The Big Block 68 Charger is fun. I'm not going to say that it's like slow, but it's, it's not a race car. That's not what it is. It's a cruiser. But it runs pretty nice. And yeah, but the Demon, the 340 Demon, it is a built 340, not factory cam. It's not insane, but it's up there. Probably a good 50 thou lift more than the factory 444 cam. It's got Edelbrock aluminum heads, TTI headers. It's got 410 gears, factory 4-speed in it. Now the 4-speed is on the outs, so I'm actually going to rebuild that soon. But at least before the transmission started going to pieces and the clutch started slipping, it was fast. So I took it to, okay. I have to qualify that because we live in an era of 700 horsepower family sedans. It was fast for me. Let's just leave it at that. The Cobra I had was kind of neck and neck. It was a built 302, Ford Motorsports 302, those SVO aluminum heads, big headers and side pipes, of course, T55 speed. It had a highway gear in it, but it was 2,000 or 2,100 pounds. So it was friggin' rowdy. That also wasn't a Mopar. But that may have been the fastest thing I ever had. It was ridiculous. And on that terrible disappointment, Lovejoy says, Ford, I've been summoned. Nice. Mo Parley is here and says, really dig the channel. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you being here, hanging out, watching my videos. I'm about 15 minutes behind on comments, guys, so I'll try to catch up. Okay, yeah, and Lovejoy said computer controlled. That's what I thought. Yeah, the one with the solenoids and all that crap. Yeah, those just need to go in the garbage. Those need to not exist anymore. They're a crime against humanity. Ditto any. That's why I call it feedback carb. They have the electronic control gizmos on them. Mr. PF Flyer says, I've had Carters, Holleys, Quadrajets, always figured them out. However, I'm grateful for fuel injection nowadays. I like fuel injection, but I really appreciate a good Edelbrock. It's just, you can tune a Holley sniper system to run perfect and cold start nice, and it can control timing, which is awesome. You can change things. You can use different inputs. You can add a rev limiter built into it. It can do a lot. It can do timing retard, I think. Some of them can anyway. It can do so much, and all of those EFI kits are similar. They have amazing capabilities, but for just like normal day-to-day runnability, like I said, the Edelbrock on my Charger is perfect. Like, I have a fuel injection kit. I was considering putting it on that car, but I just don't think there's a lot to gain there. It's so good how it is. So, yeah. But I get it, and there's a lot to be said for fuel injection. There's also a lot to be said for the simplicity of the carburetor. So I just kind of exist in a weird place in the middle where they're both okay. I'm not, I'm not going to hate on any of them. Lovejoy says, it's true. I'm a criminal. Fourth Down Clown is here. Oh, yeah. Fourth Down Clown says, hello, Jamie. Jay here, the guy waiting to get my Coronet to rock it. Yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Also got a 66 Power Wagon. Sweet. I'm assuming it's the W series, the swept line body. They did still make the military Power Wagons in 66 until 68, actually. So even later in other countries. So I guess I'd have to ask. But I really like those. I missed out on a 69 W100. Should have done the deal. Didn't do it. I love all Power Wagons. They're all good. Jay's Coronet has a thermoquad on it now. Wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it on there. I just might. Yeah, they're cool. I mean, they do good stuff. In theory, if you stay out of the secondaries, they should get decent fuel economy. And then when the secondaries open up, it's on, and you got yourself something like 850 CFM. So, yeah, they can work really well. I've had some that didn't work really well, and again, it's usually due to the fuel leakage problem. Or there's also the whole secondary door pull-off close control vacuum pod thingy. It's not just for the choke; it's also used for the secondaries, and people sometimes try to delete those, which can do weird stuff. So, if it's all there and it's in working order, they can work very well. Oh, yeah. Rooster texted me a bit ago, and he said, I have a brilliant idea. Dead Dodge Garage Prudence toy. I'd yell, Rooster, but she can't hear me from here. Mike J says, high blood pressure here. 2 meds. Ouch. Rooster says, heart issues. Suck it up, Buttercup. Run that dragster till she windows the block. Damn right. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. Whatever. Then you find out you're actually here for an undetermined amount of mediocre time. Phantom Pinecone says, 47 knees. Sort of sore sometimes. Probably fine. Stan says, not old till you get gray hair in the eyebrows or in the nose, right? I think that counts too. Avon's roughly my age. 32, drinking only the finest Diet Dr. Thunder. My knees are fine, but the squats I did playing VR games will change that shortly. That's funny. I was just telling somebody, I've never done VR. Like, I think I put on a helmet once, and it was pretty early days. Never done it. My nephew is VRing with a Wild Abandon, so now I kind of feel like I should try it myself. Banana is back again. I still don't know if it's Will Shrek or Shrek Smith. It's one or the other. Banana says, hello, I'm a regular here now. Awesome. And I did listen to you about the 68 Charger recommendations. I'm building a Bullet Charger out of Legos, and I just rewatched the Bullet Chase tonight. Nice. I've seen it on the face tubes. I've never actually watched the whole movie, but I've watched the chase scene. My mom is here. Yes, I already told the people not only how old you are, apologies, and what your knees are doing. But anyway, my mom says, that's Caradwin Atwood, by the way. You know both of those things about me, but for the record, 60 years old, my knees hurt like hell, especially the one I just had surgery on. Indeed. Yes, my mom is still currently in an inpatient recovery facility because she needs round-the-clock care and feeding. I did take her a birthday cake yesterday. Wiggy says, I had a heart flutter, ignored it, then discovered I had AFib. 1 year and 300,000 later, I don't have AFib, but I'm on a shitload of meds for life. Get it checked, friend. Knees can be replaced. I know my mom just had one. She's getting the second in probably a few months, I think. Yeah, I know, Wiggy. I'm an idiot. I need to do that. I haven't seen a doctor since I had the stomach flu at, my mom would probably remember, 12 or 13, I think. T's Good Times Garage says, I'm a bit late tonight, but not late enough to know. I need to let you all know my 46-year-old knees only hurt in the morning. All right. That's not too bad. Mine, like I said, I usually, unless I really screwed up my back the day before, I wake up in the morning and I am great. I'm solid and good to go. But yeah, it's usually more at the end of the day my knees start getting not so happy. The drive home cramped in my commuter car. Not super awesome on the knees. My mom also says, oh yeah, sciatica sucks. Fourth Down Clown says, just turned 51. Knees and body pretty good. Don't feel my age at all. My liver might, though. Cheers to that. Awesome. Not the liver part. Banana says, I also enjoyed your video on the 78 Volari. Yeah, that was fun. Are you going to do anything big with it? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm on the fence. I have a brilliant idea. But I don't know if I'll actually do it. I want to. Okay, so I've wanted to turbo a slant for a long time. I think I need to get it running on 6 cylinders first. I realize the exhaust system, which is decent, it's not all shot full of holes, it's decent, is perfect to just move over to my daily driver Barracuda project and save myself $250, $300. So I think I'm going to do that. Once the exhaust system's off of that, I think a turbo is all the exhaust system that the Volari needs. And I have a turbo off a 12-valve Cummins, a small one, you know, the early one. It also has no wastegate, so I'd have to run an external wastegate. That's fine. No problem. I have that, and it was free. So I have seen a few people hack the exhaust manifolds off and just weld a flange right there. I think it's a T4 flange. Is that what it is? So I'd have to get one of those. Put the turbo on there. Punch a return line into the pan. Bring a feed line off of the oil switch, which is right there. So that's not a problem. And then plumb it. And then I'd either have to figure out how to boost reference the crappy, what is it, Holly 1942? Is that the later one that's on it? Or get a BBS on there and boost reference that. Or swap to a Super 6 setup with a BBD and then boost reference that. Or swap to a Clifford manifold and a 4-barrel carb and boost reference that. Or do a suck-through setup. And with, you know, primary interest being given to doing it extremely cheaply, a suck-through setup might make sense. I'm not going to make a ton of boost. You know, I'm not going to outclass it, even a relatively small carburetor. So that's a thought. What I really want to do is throw some truck tires on it. And I am not only not against, but kind of excited to cut the quarters and the fenders to fit. I'm down with mud flaps. The trunk lid's got to go because this is going to litter the trail with pieces. So it'll have no trunk lid. It'd probably have no back window. I'd probably do a partition behind the back seats, but leave the side windows for that, what is it, the Fiero GT look? So it would basically be a pickup truck. And someone told me to put a gunner seat in the back. And I really like that idea, but I'm not committing to that. Honestly, I'm not committing to any of this. But I think a turbo slant Volari pickup on truck tires that goes off-roading be kind of cool. But we'll see. The problem is I don't have a title for it. And I don't really feel like going through the state process for that. It's just such a turd. So if I do anything with it, it will be for off-road use only. I can buy a trip permit in the state of Washington. It's $30. I think it's still $30. And you're good to go on the road for 3 days. So I could do that and take it on a wheeling trip. And that would be cool. Someone also said take it up to Tom's and do circles out in the field, which I would very much like to do. Don't threaten me with a good time. Wow, I'm pretty behind. Let's just say that. I'm pretty behind. But anyway, that's the plan. Don't know if it'll happen. Don't promise. People do seem to like the car. It was a really fun video to make because, as I said in the video, I literally do not care what happens. It's a piece of crap. I paid $300 for it. The engine's probably no good. There's no reason to feel bad about anything that happens to it because I'm probably going to have to part it out to get rid of the damn thing. Unless I can punt it off on some other poor schmuck. So we'll see. My mom says it's very sad for little girls when they get too big for daddy to lift them up. Yeah, she'll get over it eventually. Yeah, Led Zeppelin 2. Oh, yeah. Actually, I like 1, 2, and 3. I think, gosh, tough call. I think 1 might be my favorite. But I don't know. Yeah, I like all 3 of those. And some of the later stuff, too. By the time it gets to, Cashmere, that's not me. But the earlier, the Yardbirds too, I love it. I really love it. Lovejoy says, in regards to the carb debate, fair enough. When I first got started, I could never get the Montclair to run right with the Edelbrock because I didn't know what I was doing. Threw a Holly on and called it a day. Yeah, and see, I've had other people tell me the same basic thing. Edelbrock didn't run right. I swapped to a Holly and it's all good. Well, did you ever think about just fixing it? I mean, yeah. My biggest problem with the Demon was losing all accelerator pump fuel. And that's probably just because it had sat for years and years and years. And I thought I had that fixed, but it seems to have gone away again. So it's kind of weird. It's like it comes and it goes. When I took it out of the garage a few weeks ago when the weather was nice, it was like I didn't have it at first. And then when I was on the way home, I had it again. And that's kind of what happened when it initially started running like garbage before I went drag racing. Like I just lost all accelerator pump and it had a horrible stutter. Ross says, the Holly stutter, does that go for 2 barrels? Would explain why the factory one sucked on a 360. Well, that's a different design of Holly. That's not, that one doesn't have, to my knowledge, the replaceable discharge nozzle or squirter that the 4160, etc. has. So I don't know. I mean, any factory carb, it's not going to be amazing on accelerator pump fuel, but they usually don't stutter horribly if everything is working as it's supposed to. Lovejoy says, now that I know what I'm doing, the Edelbrock is back on it, or it was. Now I'm in the middle of an engine swap. Gotcha. Yep. All Praise says, my experience with carbs are similar to mine. The last 2 big block Mopars I owned had Carter FB on them. Ended up chucking the Holly in trash. I love Holly double pumpers. For one thing, they're huge. Yeah. Where was I going with that? I love them. If you're doing race car stuff, you should probably have that, especially if you're big stall converter, big gear, or stick shift, drag race type setup. Great. Use the double pumper Holly and tune it. I actually really like vacuum secondary Hollies too for a similar reason. The 66 Barracuda that used to have Edelbrock heads, it's got 410 gears, 4-speed. It had a performer intake and a single squirter Holly, and it was amazing. The throttle response was on point. It did not feel slow. It was burnouts through first and second and into third all day long with a vacuum secondary. So even those can work very, very well. So yeah, there again, kind of like whoever commented a minute ago and said they can all work except for the computer controlled garbage. I'm in agreement there. Like I really do think they can. Mr. B says they sell 10-pack well seals on eBay. So the wells aren't supposed to be replaceable. So what are they? Just like a strip of goop that you stick in there and it dries? I wouldn't know about that. Yeah, the fix that I had found out about, and I think it was probably Uncle Tony, I learned this, was just use 2-part epoxy. So that's what I do, and it seems to be gas proof and hold up really well. Crashes Roadrunner Garage says, where can I get a Thermoquad shirt? I don't know if Freiburger still has them or not, but they were cool. It's just a line drawing of a Thermoquad, and it says on the top in text like this, Thermoquad, with I think a couple exclamation points. Ken says, arthritis since 1974 when I was 12 and I lived in Kalispell. I do okay. Spent yesterday under my 70B and can still move today. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the day when I can't do what I do anymore. And I know it'll come. I hope it's like in my 70s or 60s maybe. I mean, who knows? I said 10 years ago I was trying to get my midlife crisis out of the way early, and I'm still working on it. So I think a day will probably come when I'm like, you know what? I don't need this shit anymore, and I'll just kind of be done with cars. And it might not even be, 20 years in the future. I don't know. There have definitely been times where I've gone, why am I doing all this? But yeah, it could be worse, Ken. It could be worse. Kevin L says, do you know a lot about thermoquads and tuning them? To say I know a lot would kind of be a lie. I know a lot about the Carter Edelbrock, and the Thermoquad is essentially the same unit, kind of. kind of, mostly, sort of. So I know a good bit. Most of my experience with the thermoquad specifically is just making it work like it's supposed to and not be a total piece of shit leaking gas underneath. I have not done any performance tuning. And here's the other thing. You guys may or may not have noticed this. I tune carburetors and timing curves a lot. It's one of the things I do on just about everything we work on at Rocket before it goes out the door. I double check the timing. I double check curb idle. I double check cold idle. I double check choke action, and I double check idle mixtures. Those are the starts up, goes into gear nice, takes off nice, that kind of thing. And those settings are something that people seem to have a real problem with. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I just have a super good grasp of that. And it's kind of where I shine as far as tuning. I generally have not done performance tuning. This is going to sound funny. I think the grand total of times I've changed jets in a Holley carburetor is 1. I've done squirter tuning. So there again, drivability stuff. I've done squirter tuning. I've done squirter cams, nozzles. But I've never spent a whole lot of time tweaking power valves or rejetting or that kind of thing. Most of my experience and my true expertise on carburetors is getting them to drive down the road nice. I don't have an exhaust analyzer. I can read plugs, but I'm not a scientist when it comes to performance tuning. I'm really a street driving car guy. That's my whole thing. That's where my passion is. In fact, I'll get off in the weeds and get another 10 minutes behind, and then you guys will have to drink again. A commenter today on the 440 that I built said, "Why did you run those pistons? Why would you use a disc piston like that? You should have at least used a thinner head gasket to get the compression up." No, it's a stock engine. I don't give half a shit what the compression ratio is. I don't care. It's going to fire up mint. It's going to run down the road perfect when I'm done with it. It'll do burnouts. It'll do cool stuff, but it's not a race car. Not everything is a race car. So again, that's where my experience is. That's what I know on thermoquads as well, is more of the streetability, that sort of tuning on it. The big thing I know about thermoquads is that the bodies warp and that the well plugs in the bottom always leak. Was that too long-winded of a response? Honcho's House says, yeah, computer controlled carb. Okay. Sort of like a stepper motor BBD. Yeah, but with a throttle position sensor, primary metering rods dance up and down to pulse the fuel through the jets. Yeah, that sounds horrible. I've had a couple in my collection. In fact, I might still, or I might have scrapped them. I have a lot of quadrajets, and I don't know why. I've only had one truck that ran it. Excuse me. Chrysler did use quadrajets, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, in the 80s. But I can't say I'm a fan, but I have had them work well enough. And if you didn't pick up on it, I know a couple of you guys did. Avon said, take a bonus drink every time Jamie realizes how many tens of minutes behind he is. That was 20 minutes ago. Sorry, folks. All right. I need a safe word where I just tell everyone to stop commenting. Honcho's House, all controlled by an Atari 2600. Not to mention they still have well plugs that leak. Try diagnosing that rich condition. No. I'd sooner work on a lean burn, and I hate those things. Yeah, our Hill noticed what Avon said. Noah says, sorry I'm late. I totally called you out, Noah. Was watching Last of Us with wife. Highly recommend. Yeah, I'll have to go watch that as soon as I'm done with the live stream and we have some dinner. Been watching it. Episode 3 was the one with that guy in it, right? I think that was episode 3. That was fantastic television. I love that man. And take that however you want. He is one of my personal heroes. If you've ever listened to his music, which I have only a little, he has a song called Paddle your own canoe. And I truly live my life by that. Paddle your own canoe. Just do it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be rich, but paddle your own canoe. Mopar 73 Duster is here. I've got a 73 Duster. I took it to alignment shop. They said front right frame rail rolled in. They can't get it aligned. Have you seen this happen? Yes, I have. I touched on it a little bit. The yellow 70 383 4-speed CUDA I did a video on about a month ago now. That's back to the customer now. That thing was sweet. It had a 440 in it. Just warmed up a little bit, and it was good. That car had been in a front ender / partial rollover. Like it went on its side maybe, and the whole roof had been repaired. The front left frame rail, inner fender, front left fender, of course. I think the core support, like it had a lot of work done, and the frame rails were not perfectly straight. It was okay. We got it aligned. I aligned it myself. I could not get the radial tire offset bushing numbers that we're usually looking for. The modern alignment numbers. Could not get that on the one side. It just would not cooperate. It might have actually been the right side that I couldn't get aligned right. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they didn't replace that one, so it wasn't straight. I can't remember, but one side of it, I just couldn't get it aligned. It drove okay. It drove pretty good. But yes, that absolutely can happen, and you will probably want to find someone with a frame rack and see if they can straighten it out. That's really just the only thing to do. My friend Fitz is here, of course, the designer of the Dead Dodge Garage logo, all of the merch you guys have bought, which, again, we do appreciate. And many more designs coming soon. Fitz says, just 31, but I've ended up in some manner of dance party every day this week, and my knees are kind of feeling it at this point. Yeah, I bet. I kind of figured that's why our newest shirt hasn't come out yet. The guy's got to live. Keep the people waiting, build the suspense. Noah says, P.S. I kicked my Ford fascination over the last week. I'm recovered. Hi, Noah. Welcome to Ford Owners Anonymous. I know I told you guys earlier in this live stream, I did own a Ford. It was actually a fiberglass kit car, but it had a Ford engine. R. Hill says, there's so much more to Bullet than the chase scene. It's worth watching. No CGI to be found. Yeah, I know. Totally. Mopar Pollock says, I'll watch it all someday, R. Hill. Actually, the funny thing is, it's been a few years now, but my wife and I went on a kick of watching all of the classic car movies. We did the original Vanishing Point, the original Gone in 60 Seconds, Two-Lane Blacktop. We never got around to the Harrison Ford one for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, Mopar Pollock says, you need to become friends with Cletus McFarlane. Something about real good at doing things. 60,000 subs in a day. Wow. Well, let's see what I could do. Michael Hatfield totally picked up on the vibe I'm going for with the off-road Volari. Absolutely a Gambler 500 style build. That is exactly it. I haven't done a Gambler. I've wanted to for a long time. In fact, the OG down in the Portland area coincided with my birthday for the last 2 years. And I really did want to go do that. It's hard for me to leave my family and go screw around in the woods for 4 days. And I don't really think they'd want to go. Maybe someday we'll do that. But yeah, the other thing is I got to have a worthy vehicle. For many years, I have had two visions of off-road Mopars. I really want to do this. That's why the Volari is an enticing idea, because A-bodies are so friggin' expensive, and let alone late chargers. The F-body was near to free, so I could do whatever I want. I have long wanted to do a lifted third-generation charger, which, of course, I would have to call the Ram Charger. I didn't want to do the truck frame thing. I wanted to put a front end under it and a front drive shaft, have it be 4-wheel drive, but keep it as low as possible. Of course, Dirt Every Day ended up doing that with a 73 Roadrunner Satellite, whatever it is. Roadrunner, the off-road runner. So that kind of took the piss out of it for me. God, because it's been done. The other idea my brother and I have been talking about for a long time is something called the Trail Duster. And the Trail Duster, of course. Oh, awesome. Murray saw my video on his CUDA that I put out today, and he is pleased. He says I've got a voice for commentating or whatever. Trail Duster. My genius idea was Grand Cherokee drive tank, because I had 4 of them at the time. So I was going to cut the whole IFS, or it's not IFS, it's coil spring, what are they, a 3-link, whatever it is, under the front end of one of those, and put it under a crappy Duster and make it 4-wheel drive. But again, the same thing. I would be using the factory chassis and just putting the 4-wheel drive stuff on it. My idea of a 4-wheel drive car is not a big giant monster. It's low. Anyway, there's also a Washington Gambler. My friend's gone to several of those. I've never made it, but I hope to someday. The Volari, if I do it, I would pretty much have to do the Gambler because it would be perfect. Mike J says, have you ever made the trip to Graveyard Cars? No, I have not. I have not. That would be cool. I don't watch the show. I just don't like car TV shows, really. I like Roadkill. I like, that sort of stuff. The stuff that's actually real instead of the not really real. You know what I'm saying? So no, I never have. I know there's cool stuff there. Dan says, Slant 6 with early 80s Buick V6 draw through. Missed one, complete with carb for $2. Wow. Yeah, you probably should have grabbed that. Yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking. The only thing is I don't have the Buick set up and I'm not going to go buy one. So I'll make one. Dan also says, make a Dead Dodge Garage Thermal Quad shirt. That is a great idea. And honestly, while I was explaining, go over and try and buy one from Freiburger, I was thinking, yeah, maybe. I just don't want to. I don't want to ride his coattails. That's the thing. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to make anything that just anyone could make. I want to make my own stuff. But anyway, it is what it is. Mr. PF Flyer says, I'm not looking forward to the day when I have to eat my dinner through a straw. I'll be honest, man. I don't really want to make it to that point. If I'm too old to get up and live a life, I don't know, hire a team of ninjas to take me out or something, and scatter my ashes down the Oregon coast and some in the Chehalis, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, I'll get old and slow down, but I hope to take care of my body enough to the point that I never have to do that. But we'll see. Michael Hatfield says, I have a new quick fuel brawler. Cool. On my junk. And it has that stumbled new out of the box. Yep. Makes sense. Verify your timing curve. And check what squirter size you got in the front. Yeah. Not jets. Squirter or discharge nozzle. I don't know what size carburetor it is you have. But yeah, the I guess 650, 700 is usually what I'm working with. And they all just always seem to have the 28 in the front. The 28 is not going to do it for a performance engine. 31's a good start. 34 might even, depending on your engine, something in the low to mid 30s will get you where you want to be. If the number on your primary squirter in your Holly starts with 2, just throw it away. Rooster, someone. So I'm someone. Wait, what did you? Yeah. Yeah. I am somebody. I forgot it was you in a text, Rooster. Or it was your comment on the video. Yeah. It was just perfect. You knew exactly what I wanted to do. Truck tires on the back. Take it for a rip in Tom's Field. And my friend Tyler, who did my rock workout here, he's got some spots up on the hill at his place. and he's got a field which he has long been teasing turning into a dirt oval. So, yep, something like that. Take the Volari to Tom's, defile it. And when you're done, mount it to a tree so it can return to the earth, or take it home and carve it like a Christmas goose. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If I make it so awesome that it's just like, that it's worthy of sticking around in the fleet, I might not want to wrap it around a tree. I might not want to take it apart. I mean, I had ideas already of, I could put a 5-speed in this thing. I could put a ridiculous V8 in it. It's easy, but I just like the Turbo Slant 6 idea. And it's already a manual transmission, so it's going to be fun no matter what. It's fun when it's slow. Lovejoy says, relate to the not looking forward to being able to wrench. Parkinson's runs in my family, so it's more than likely going to happen. And, yeah, heart disease runs in my family. So, just saying. Stacy says, if no one's mentioned it yet, great job on the Barracuda, man. It's nice to see it looking like a whole car. No one has yet. A couple people saw it and I think said various things about it. But, yeah, it's looking good. And there's actually a guy, I've already been in contact. I posted that video on the A-Body Mopar group. Someone commented with a link to a slightly wrecked Barracuda that the guy is now parting out. And it's on Facebook Marketplace in Yelm, which is not far from me. Hour and a half or something. And it's funny because the front end's wrecked. The nose is bent like this on the passenger side. But you look at it, the grill's smashed, but the passenger headlight bezel is just sitting there perfectly on this little island of not ruined sheet metal. So it might just be good. So I might have one. He said he's going to look. So anyway, super cool. But yeah, I am very excited about it. I do think I've mentioned hello. I had another one. We put quarter panels on it, rebuilt 360, rebuilt 727, got good 68 grills for that one. And I flew too close to the sun trying to make it nice, so I never got to drive it. I never even had it running. So I'm super excited. I know it's ridiculous, and some people are like, when are you going to paint it? That sort of thing. I am just so excited to have it together and driving down the road. It's like, that's huge for me. And I've got all the time in the world to make it nice someday. In fact, we just put 20 grand into a paint job on a 73 Charger. And I was thinking to myself, I do love these Barracudas. And this one, someday, I may be willing to put that into it. Someday. It'll be the last Barracuda I ever have if I spend that money. But, yeah. Anyway, thanks, Stacy. I'm super excited. There will be more updates on that coming, of course. I think my next move, again, as mentioned in the video, exhaust, get the fourth slot mag on it, get the brakes working, and then license plates, Oh, and a radiator. Radiator's got to happen. Ross says, yes, thank you. Ross says, you can have all the race car parts in the world bolted on and still get your ass handed to you by a well-tuned car running certain stock parts. That is absolutely correct. And that's the thing. And one of the things I like the most about Uncle Tony, I know some of you guys do watch Uncle Tony. I don't know if all you do. But I do. And one of the things I like so much about him is that it's his entire thing. It's not corporate sponsorship. It's not, you need to go spend money. You need to get these parts so you can be fast and cool. It's, let's see what we can do with this. Are you sure you need to throw away your Edelbrock and get a Holly? Are you sure you need headers? Are you sure you can't tweak what you have and recurve your factory distributor and make it work? And so that's been a huge influence on me over the last couple of years. And I have realized, yeah, that ain't it, friend. To me, it's doing as much as you can with as little as you can. And I know it's not to your point, but it's in sort of the same universe. Someone commented on the Volari and said, well, why would you turbo the Slant 6? Why don't you turbo a 440? Because, you'll make 600 horsepower instead of, he said 300, but I think that was just a random number, because that's not the point. The point is to have fun for cheap and work with what's there and what I have sitting in the back room. Like, that turbo is literally in my lean-to, probably getting rained on right now. Like, the turbo that's free is the turbo for me. Same with the engine. Yeah, I could spend $5,000 and build myself an awesome 440. I wouldn't put a turbo on it. I'd put a blower on it. So another $4,500 there. So then I'm $10,000 into an engine. It sure as shit isn't going in that Volari at that point. I don't have any car I would put that in. So again, that's what I'm about, you know. And one more thing on that point, and I'll move on. My Demon, you may or may not know this, it competed in stock eliminator class in the 70s, and it was competitive. In fact, Dale won that class, the 1973 Winter Nationals. I have a trophy to prove it, and I have a time slip from Seattle, SIR, from 1973 that says ET 1188. That was done with a changed rear gear, a modified thermoquad, a cheater cam, and just tweaked and tuned factory suspension. I'm pretty sure he was using drilled shocks at that time. Factory pieces. And it went in the 11s in 1973. The car's built a lot more than that at this point. So in theory, it should be faster. So far, my times are in the approximate 14s. So, yeah, that's exactly to your point. Exactly. Lovejoy knows where it's at, too. All Praise says, lean burn. That term brings back nightmares. Yeah, I hate it. Oh, yeah. No, Lovejoy's here, too, in the Ford owners support group. Lovejoy also suffers from a crippling Ford addiction. It's okay. We let you guys hang out. You're like our, you know, whatever. They're just here. It's fine. Don't worry about them. Fitz says, I have the design uploaded to the old shirt depot. Okay, see, that's funny. I was just going to go in and look like 2 nights ago, and then I saw something shiny, or I was responding to comments or something, so I didn't do that. Cool. I'll go in and take a look. The last version I saw of it, I was really, really happy with it. I know we were just kind of deciding on what to do with the emblem. So sweet. Cool. So you guys will probably have the opportunity to buy the next Dead Dodge Garage shirt next week. And of course, I will make an announcement on that. Very much looking forward to it. And we've got more coming. Michael Adamo says 52 pickup is a cool flick. Has the 69 GTX in it. Interesting. I never heard of that one. Mike J says, watch the deleted scene from Vanishing Point. Shame it wasn't in the movie. It's on YouTube. I'll have to try and remember that. Yeah, Rooster. Yeah, I know this. Yes. The car that hit the dozer in the end was a Camaro. No Challengers were hurt in the making of that movie. Yes. Oh, and then R. Hill says what I was about to say, which was, it was a Camaro, yes, but those Challengers were hurt. Yeah, weren't they all crushed after filming? Didn't Chrysler take them back and crush them except for 1, maybe 2? I don't remember. As far as during filming, I'm not totally sure. But hey, I'm almost at the end of the comments. I see 3090 out there now. If you have not hit the like on the stream, please do that. If you don't, I'll know. And so will Super Duck. And if you have any questions for me, please ask them. I really would appreciate constructive criticism on my recent videos. They've been getting a lot longer. The main reason for that is I own a tripod now. Is that okay with everybody? Or did you like it when things were shorter and more concise? I'm ending up now with so much footage I'm editing down just to get to a half hour. It's kind of funny. Anyway, that's where we're at. Oh, excuse me. I think some of you did notice last week I produced an intro, started using an intro in my videos, and for some reason I edited it today, reworked it, and so there's a new intro now, and I'll probably keep doing that as we go along, you know, edit in fresh clips and such. I've got a lot. Plain Brown Rapper is here and says, question. I'm always creeping around on Marketplace in Washington. So you've seen a lot of my stuff then. That's the only place I sell anymore. Craigslist is a ghost town. I've noticed a lot of tin grill truck Dodge sale. I've noticed a lot of tin grill Dodge trucks for sale at decent prices in Washington. Probably like my 79 Stepside that I recently sold that went to Wisconsin. To Stage Zero Garage, who was in the comments. Where in the state should I avoid for rust? So, Western Washington, closer to the ocean, the worse it's going to get. If it's on the east side, you're good. If it's been on the east side forever, you're good. That 79 Stepside I just sold was actually an import from California, Southern California. So it was very solid. Now, the thing is, Washington trucks tend to not be the worst. They're not like Midwest, like just needs a new cab and a new bed status. Usually what seems to happen is the floor goes right around the gas pedal. So your driver's right heel is through the floor. That's been my experience. Cab corners tend to be bad. Roof channel is one spot that starts to get not so good. Door corners, also common, much like on the cars that have been over here for a long time. Rockers can go, lower fenders. Like, there are always spots and they're always down in the bottom, but they don't tend to be awful. They don't tend to be like crippling rust. They tend to be ignorable rust. That's been my experience. But anything that's way over here, west side, in the rainier, saltier parts, you might want to avoid that. If it's in the Long Beach area, don't do that. Stuff on the harbor here, I've been pretty lucky, but I think most of my trucks come from a little further east. If it's been in a field collecting tree parts for the last 20 years, it's probably not going to be any good either. Yeah, like I say, if it's in Eastern Washington and it's been there forever, you are good to go. And Central Oregon, too, is good. It's more deserty there. Oregon coast, again, probably not so much. But, yeah. My Charger's from Oregon, and it's pretty damn good. Ross says, Tony was a 5.0 Stang banger back in the day. So was I. The essence of those cars was doing little things. Yep. I've watched a bit of his content and listened to him talking about those, and it's cool. Yeah, all the little tips and tricks people figured out. And, stock, they were in the low 15s or upper 14s, and they figured out, tweak the timing, and then do this, and then this, and then, whatever, the little things, and they worked them down into the 12s. Cool stuff. I'm very into that. And I do really like Fox body Mustangs. Don't, no one be mistaken about that. I appreciate some Fords. My dad had 40 Econoline vans, so I kind of appreciate them too. And I like Arrow Nose Ford trucks. I've said that before. But Fox bodies, I've always thought I would own one, and I still never have. I've had 2 SN95s, one V6 automatic, and one GT 50HO 5-speed. And that thing was fun. That's what I learned to power shift in. Because it makes so little horsepower, it won't hurt you. Banana says, last question, but is your 68 Charger good at cornering and handling? I've heard they're not that good at taking corners. I have to qualify this statement. It's pretty damn good. It's a lot better than you might think. And the factory sway bar is definitely a part of that. It's also a big block car. It does have extra weight over the nose, but it's got stiffer torsion bars to accommodate for that. Whether that makes a big difference or not, I don't know. I've got air shocks in the back, which by all rights should be horrible for handling. I've also got 295s in the back and skinnies up front, which also, by all rights, should be horrible for handling. But it's not that bad. It's pretty nice. It drives nicely. It's enjoyable. It is by no means, in no way, scary or terrifying. Now, The Mopars that do not have sway bars, a little bit different story. But the Charger's pretty good. There's a really good curvy stretch of road from where I work at Rocket out to Highway 12 that I come in on. It's a back road. There's almost no one on it. There are a couple streets, and there's like a smattering of houses, but there's really not much there, so it's relatively safe. There's almost never any cars there, and so allegedly, I drive through there with gusto, and I have done that in the Charger. In fact, one day, some idiot in an import really wanted to rip through there. Like, I'm 10 over, 15 over through the curvies, and this guy wanted to go like 60, which is insane. And I was in the Charger, and I'm like, brother, do you not realize this car is worth a shit ton of money, and you probably shouldn't be riding my ass? There's nowhere to pass. It's like I was just kind of stuck with the guy. So I went, okay, fine, hammer down. And I ran through those curves quick in that Charger, and it did it very well. So I have to say it's quite good. Now, you can't go into it expecting a pro touring autocross car. It's just not like that. But people always want to say, oh, muscle cars can't go around corners, or oh, they were great in a straight line, and they're just worthless. It's not. It really isn't. It is fun. It's confident. A B-body holds the road really nicely. And again, especially if it's got a sway bar and heavier duty springs and decent shock absorbers. So yeah, hope that helps. Ross says, King of the Mountain, great movie. Interesting. I haven't heard of that one either. Rooster says 68 Chargers were built for NASCAR. Well, they thought so. Except for the whole high-speed tail end lifting off the road trying to kill you thing, which, of course, led to the Charger 500 and the Daytona. The Daytona pretty much only exists because the 68 Charger was so horrible at high speed. Tony B says, hey, Jamie, sorry I'm late. It's all good, Tony. I was late, too. Not an hour and a half late, sir, son. I'm afraid this will have to go down in your permanent record. Lovejoy says, I like the longer videos. The half-hour videos fit nicely in my lunch break. Awesome. Cool. Fourth Down Clown says, I'm digging the opening scene on the videos quite heartily. Good stuff. Awesome. Appreciate that. Kind of speaking to the same thing, that we were talking a bit ago about, like, our hell is going back and watching my older videos. I believe it was. The intro is mostly, you can see the stuff that's newer, but it's mostly made up of stuff that I have saved from old videos because I've done a lot of fun things and I want people to know that they exist. But anyway, yeah, I've planned to do an intro for a long time, and I guess I just never really thought I was worthy. I finally got to the point where I thought, let's just do it, baby. And I'm very pleased with myself. I think it's, I'm enjoying it. So anyway, glad you guys like it. Intro rocks. Cool. Awesome. Very pleased. Has anyone noticed it's 42 seconds long? Don't read into that. Craig Bully says, I love the longer videos. Stacy says, longer videos are awesome. Cool. Awesome. So I guess we're all on board with the longer stuff. I haven't had anyone said, this is too long, I don't like it. Cool. Well, you could probably expect that to continue. And it's not that I'm forcing it or anything. You may have noticed the Barracuda video today, the CUDA video, shorter than like the Barracuda video yesterday and shorter than the Volari video because I didn't have anything filmed with a tripod. So it was just kind of the drive and looking at the car. So that was a little more traditional Dead Dodge Garage. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, there is a bumper in there now that is going to say every video that is made at Rocket. For one thing, I want to make sure Tom is getting the recognition that he deserves for letting me run wild with the cameras and frankly take a lot of time to do that. But also because people think that he's me and I'm him, even though, like, I always say I work here, not I own here. People just don't get that. It's kind of weird. So I'm confident everybody here knows what's going on. Tom is Tom and I am not. But anyway, there's going to be a bumper now for every Rocket video that does say specifically this was filmed at Rocket. So, and having said that, I've actually filmed a lot more videos at home in the last couple of weeks than I have in like the last several months. So you will be seeing more of that as well. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is you won't see the intro on like the technical type videos. My channel has always been fun stuff, project stuff, and then technical guides. So the technical guides, I don't consider them features. The car projects, doing silly things, even like road trips, test drives, projects at Rocket, at least the interesting ones, looking at the cars and driving the cars and that kind of stuff. Those I see as feature videos, and they'll have the intro, and they might have soundtracks, and they might have, things like that. Dan Berg is here from the eastern side of Washington and says, he's been under the weather. That sucks. Glad you made it, Dan. He says, anyway, hi, everyone. The eastern side of Washington is best. Well, I like the west side. I like the green a lot. I don't like that it's gray and rainy and it rains all the time. Yeah, we're to that part of the show where I can't speak right anymore, so I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. The eastern side is just like deserty. Anyway, it's best for sheet metal, that's for sure. Well, this is interesting. Ross says 72 to 75 tin grills had a different metal spec. Don't rust near. Good Lord. Don't rust nearly as bad. I haven't heard that. And I have owned a truck called Rusty, which was a Western Washington Grays Harbor truck for many, many years. It was a 75. And it was bad. Bad. Doors flopped, this much metal missing, cab corners. It was cool taking that truck into puddles, water features, mud holes, because I could see when I got too deep through the floor. There were rags shoved in holes in the cab corners. You could see daylight if you looked through the door correctly. You could see daylight from inside the cab. Yeah, of course, my heel was in the floor. That's normal. Bottoms of the fenders were both bad. Front left, rad support mount. You could pick up the whole front end because it just wasn't there. And the bed was bad too. It was one side you could have just ripped the top of the wheel well out. So anyway, that hasn't been my experience. I will say the 74 club cab I have is very solid, but it didn't come from here. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard that, Ross. That's interesting. What I would say to that actually is, in my experience, the 80s trucks seem to be more solid. And I don't know if that's just because they're not as old, or if it's a difference in manufacturing, or if they improved like the drainage for that later style cab. I don't know. But in my experience, 80s trucks tend to be more solid. I've had one really fairly decent 78, other than the hole in the floor. It had solid rockers, solid doors, solid bed. I was very proud of that truck because it was mostly there, which again, not really normal. R. Hill says, I think your fans are less likely to have short attention spans. Your semi-daily videos are going to be enjoyed long or short. Awesome. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get 2 to 3 out a week. I have more videos in reserve, but the thing is, how do I put this? They're not all that good. I have one working on a mail truck, for example, but I'm kind of afraid it won't get views. No one will watch it, and it'll tank my channel again, like the Corolla video and the quarter midget video did. So I'm a little hesitant to release those. I definitely want to shoot for doing good videos that people will like Friday through Sunday. So I'm going to try and keep at least 2 of those coming every week. And then I'll probably bring in other things, technical guides, stuff like that, that maybe is not going to get the same viewership throughout the week. I have a bunch of those. You I know you haven't been around forever, Arhale. You may know I used to post videos daily. There was a time I was doing videos every single day. And it's not like they were forced or like I was running out of ideas or anything either. It was like a technical guide this day and then a project this day. And then I was doing this on the Power Wagon and then another technical guide. And then I did a road trip and like, you know, I used to put them out all the time. But I've slowed down on that. It has gotten to where the editing process takes a lot more time than it used to because I have 2 cameras and I have a tripod, which has led to longer videos, but also way more editing time. I'm also now doing the intro. I'm also now doing more soundtrack stuff, which again, I record myself right here in my home studio. So yeah, there's a lot of time that goes into keeping it all going. But yeah, it's funny you say that my fans probably don't have short attention spans because I do. Anyway. Plain Brown Rapper says, thank you for answering my question. Yeah, of course. I'm from Minnesota, so everything is absolutely screwed here. Yeah. So my 79 step side just went to Wisconsin. It's actually technically still in Seattle. He's taking off Thursday, but it's going to Wisconsin, and that's exactly why. He's been looking around the more solid parts of the country for decent bodies to take home. And yeah, it's kind of what you have to do. It's interesting. I don't see it this way. There are way fewer classics and old trucks here now than there were. I think it's more changing demographics, cash for clunkers, and old school mechanics dying than rust. But people comment from rusty parts of the country and say, we don't see those here. That's awesome. That truck's cool. I'd love to have a truck like that, but I can't buy one. And that's interesting to me because, again, I have rust over here, but then to have people say, no, we have rust. It's a trip. So, yeah. XLMI commented and said, videos look a little more polished, kind of like the Daily Barracuda. Yeah, and actually that kind of speaks to what I was just saying. I am baking in some more polish to what I'm doing. This is not going to become a crazy, overproduced, huge crew, professional camera people, soundtrack through the whole thing, voiceovers. I'm not going to, we're not going there. But I did want to step the polish and the quality up a little bit. I started with just my iPhone 13. It's not even a Pro. It's just an iPhone 13. I started the channel with just this. It is still almost exclusively filmed on this. It used to be edited on this, but it's now edited on a MacBook in iMovie. And I've played around with some other tools as well. But yeah, that has introduced some polish to it. I figured I could do it just on the phone, the cheap-ass way, for a year. And I've gotten to the point that it is worth it to me to spend more time. So I'm improving things a little bit. I'm glad it shows. But it's not going to get to the point that I'm no longer approachable and it's ridiculous. So don't worry about that. And yeah, as far as the Daily Barracuda, I love that thing. And I'm really looking forward to driving it. I love the comfy seats. I'm definitely going to put a double din CarPlay stereo in that one, just like my Corolla. I'm going to try and bake in creature comforts and make it nice to drive. And I'm going for fuel economy, which is silly. It's not the kind of thing you do with a classic car like that, but that's what I want. So we'll see how it goes. Ross says the 50SN sucked. They had to change the induction to fit under the hood. That's interesting. I've heard people put the Cobra or Explorer, which is basically the Cobra manifold on them, and it still fits. I got my SN. Yeah, SN95. Yeah. I got mine, and I was kind of excited. It was the 50 HO, and I thought, this is a cool car, and it was low mileage. It was black, triple black leather interior, 5-speed, of course. It was awesome. So I thought, this is cool. I think I'd like to build this thing. I think I'd like to hot rod it a bit. So I looked at the list of things to do that you can increase the 185 horsepower or whatever. And basically it was like, well, you can do this and you can change the intake and you can do this with injectors and you can do this and this, and then you can make 230 horsepower. And it was like, what the hell? And the ultimate fix for it is to change out the heads because they're so restrictive. So get the bigger ports, and then you got to change your headers, and you got to like. And at the end of all that, you make 300 horsepower if you're lucky. And it's like, good God, man. Fuck that. I have to say, though, the one that was in my Cobra, which is a very similar animal, it impressed. And I think it only made 325, let's say, if that. But it was super lightweight. So, yeah, they weren't amazing. They weren't crazy muscle cars, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, Rooster knows all about Rust. He's in Minnesota as well. Ross says, Harry Hamlin, Dennis Hopper, Mulholland Drive Canyon Carvers. 1981? I don't know what any of that means. Dan Berg says, don't forget about Bullet. I know you're late. Bullet is actually what started the conversation on the classic car movies because someone, I don't remember who, too far to scroll back, was just watching the Bullet chase scene on YouTube, which is the only place I've seen it. I haven't actually seen the entire movie. Multiple people picked up on that. It's so funny. 42. The ultimate question. Life, the universe, everything. Oh, well, I have to think about that. Come back in 300 years or whatever it was. Yes, Michael, the intros are the ultimate answer. I didn't really understand the question. Stacy said, once the Mustang's on the road, I really need to find some twisty roads. It has a factory 1-inch sway bar up front, 3/4 in the rear. It's such a light car, it should handle decently. Yeah, I think so. Original Mustang sure as shit didn't, but everyone and their mother used the Mustang 2 front end. There had to be a reason for that. Light, nimble car, factory dual sway bars. Yeah, it should do good stuff. I want to say something else on this. Oh, look, my sister finally decided to roll in. I want to say something else on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's funny that at least a couple people picked up on that. When we were doing the live tour of Rocket, which I am going to post as an individual video as well. And that's another one that I have it edited and ready to go, but it's like, I'm kind of afraid to use it in place of a feature. I know some people are going to want to see that and didn't see the live. I just don't know that it's going to get a ton of views. And if it doesn't get a ton of views, it's a problem. Anyway, when we had Tom on to do that, we were just chatting here. You guys were here for the first half. And I mentioned that song from Cowboy Bebop, which I covered slide guitar and used for the intro to the ranch video. Someone asked about that. And I started talking about anime. My sister was here. We were talking about anime. And Tom was like, I think you just lost the crowd. And then the comments were all, I thought that was Cowboy Bebop. I remember that show. It was great. I watched this. I watched that. Dan knew Cowboy Bebop. There was a lot of anime responses. It was all anime fans in the comments. And Tom was like, I was wrong. Clearly, a huge percentage of my viewers are nerds. So I'm not at all surprised that you picked up the Hitchhiker's Guide reference. Hey, guys, I know I started a little late. I probably will leave in about 7 to 10 minutes. I'm hungry. And we got to go watch The Last of Us. So that's important. That's our Sunday night ritual currently. So I'll get through the comments we got here. If you have anything else you want to sneak in, go ahead and try. I do my best to answer everybody's stuff. 37 of you still here at almost 2 hours. I really appreciate you hanging out. Super cool. If you did not like the live stream, you should do that. And if you enjoy this and you think your friends would too, you should tell them to hop in here. It's kind of fun. It's fun for me. I look forward to it all week. I really do. I told band practice specifically, I got to be done by 5-ish because I got to go live stream. Would you believe they made fun of me and called this a podcast? It's messed up. Anyway, Michael Adamo says, I love all my Mopars, but I also love Econoline vans. 70, 71, 72 especially. And I really love 64 Galaxies, hardtop or convertible. I've had a ton of 5.0 Mustangs, even 4.6s. Yeah, we talked last week about the 64 Galaxy. I managed to not get. I really wanted to own that. It was a nice car, and I did like it. 390 with triple two barrels. It's a party, man. But yeah, my dad had two late 70s Econolines, so that body style. Those are kind of the ones that give me the warm and fuzzies, and I've had two of them. The one I had that I really liked had the inline six. It was a 1-ton and fully loaded to the roof with band gear and no overdrive. It's still got 15 plus miles a gallon, and I was very impressed with that. Oh, 4.6 Mustangs. It's funny, everyone on the Mustang forums just dogs on those things and says they suck. But yet they're like, you put an exhaust on them and they sound kind of obnoxious, but cool. I like the 5.0 because it's the plucky little unit. And I built one for a 79 Capri. I next time that car's here, I should feature that on a video. I wanted to last time it was here, but I just didn't get around to it. It's a neat car. It's nothing crazy, just a happy little 5.0 I put together. It had a flat cam and something else. And it's cool. They have impressed me. They're so small and they do cool stuff, but the horsepower numbers, yeah. Tony B has an excellent question. What's the story with the chopped up car and the Jolly Roger in the intro? You can go back and watch the videos on that. It is the Scamp. It was a very, very rusty Scamp. It was from Ocean Shores, Washington, which is funny. I picked it up about a mile from where I picked up my Demon. The difference is my Demon was inside the whole time, and the Scamp was parked under a tree. We're talking like 200 feet from the ocean, maybe 300 feet, but not far. So yeah, not good. We knew that car was there. I had never stopped and asked about it for some reason. I should have 10 years ago when it was still maybe savable. But yeah, they parked it in the yard under a tree, got covered in tree crap, and it just ate the car to pieces. It was so bad. I cannot stress how bad that car was. So we did a revival video on it. I actually shared that in a community post. So if you want to go see the backstory on that car, it's in a community post on, you click over to my YouTube channel and then hit community and go down 3 or 4 posts. Occasionally I'll do an experiment and I'll post an older video in there to see if it gets the views. And that one did. It got another maybe a couple hundred or something. It's from a time when my editing was a little slower. It was a little less, it was inexpert, let's say that. It was a very fun video because just like the Volari, it just doesn't matter what happens to it. It's such a piece of crap. And it came on the heels of having owned a 72 Fury, which was a rotten piece of garbage also. Like the roof was not even there anymore, basically under the vinyl. And I had posted that car for sale for parts. I had posted that I was parting it out. And on one of the groups, someone was like, I would fix that. You got to fix that. They're not making them anymore. That's a great project car. And I was like, dude, it's not. It's garbage. It's not a good car. There's nothing. No one is going to save a 72 Fury sedan that has holes in the cowl, and the cowl flexes when you open the doors. And so, yeah, I just had these people like, you just got to save it, man. You just got to do it. I would come there and help you do the metal. You got to save that car. How about you buy it, save it yourself? Oh, no, I can't do that. Okay. So it was right on the heels of that I got this Scamp. And I was just afraid that everyone was going to be dogging on me for beating on it, for messing it up, for not caring and all that. So the whole video, I'm just like, look at this hole. Look at this hole. Oh, look, there's ventilation in the frame. Oh, look, and then there's another video after the one where I got it running and then crashed it into a fence. And the video that clip comes from that you're talking about is called Aggressively Disassembling. I don't know if I said aggressively disassembling a 1973 Plymouth Scamp. or aggressively disassembling an extremely rusty Plymouth Scamp or something like that. But if you look up Dead Dodge Garage aggressive disassemble, you'll find it. And the funny thing is, I was just going to part it out because I had no papers, and I got it from the guy it was registered to, but the title was lost, and it was this whole thing, and it was just not worth saving. So I was parting it out anyway, and I made a few bucks doing that. And so I figured, what the hell, let's have some fun. And my friend Dalton just happened to show up to help. And then my brother showed up, and then we're all just like ripping parts off of it. Like, this is how bad this car was. For Western Washington, absolutely insane. Dalton went over to the passenger door. I thought it was good. The skin looked good. He grabbed it by the bottom and peeled it up like a can lid. He grabbed the passenger quarter panel and just ripped it off the car after we cut the roof off. Nothing else. Just the roof, cut the roof, and then he grabbed it and ripped. So there's another clip in the intro where I'm doing a burnout in that car with just the roof cut off. Because for a minute there, I thought it would be really fun to drive like that. But again, same as the Volari, no papers. It's like, I'm not really going to do that. But anyway, it was very fun. I've been hesitant to do similar stuff ever since because it wasn't that well received. Like, it didn't get a ton of views like I really thought it would. Like, I really thought people would love to see that. But my main viewership are the older guys who respect these cars, love these cars, not who want to beat on them. So I'm kind of surprised the Volari video is actually doing really well. So there may be more of that in the future. But anyway, that's what that is. It's a 73 Scamp. It was an absolute turd. I still have the axle from it sitting in my yard. I'm going to use it in the Daily Driver Barracuda. I have a bunch of small parts I'm going to use in the Daily Driver Barracuda. But the car itself, long, long gone. But as we were cutting it up, disassembling it, we were still like driving around in the yard and doing burnouts and dumb shit. And it was super cool. It was a great time. Richard says, if you're from Minnesota and want rust-free close, go to South Dakota, Missouri. Then you can find good stuff. Yeah, I have some friends that go over to South Dakota and bring stuff over here. I'm going to speed run the last comments, guys. It's 8, and I do have to get going. I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying I'm out of here. Bye. So all good if you're already out. You have a great night, and I appreciate you sticking around. My sister said, what up? Stacy said, I'd watch mail truck videos. I know you would. All of my my full-timers will watch it. The problem is, if it doesn't get wide views, it's not worth doing. It just won't. It won't help my channel. It hurts. Ross says, do a door bushing fix on your 74 and 75 up at the same time. Weight difference is noticeable. Also, the stress cracks away from the fender wheel arch radius is a tell. Interesting. Danberg says, when are we going to meet Mrs. Jamie? I don't know. Usually, so the problem is Sunday Live coincides with Sunday daughter needs to get in the bath time, and Sunday making dinner, and Sunday, hey, we got to go watch our TV show time. So she's hesitant to do it. But she said she will eventually. I'll con her into it. Craig says, yeah, and that's exactly it, Craig, and I know that. Difference in the Midwest cars and ours. Pacific Northwest, yeah, they salt the roads in the Midwest. They don't here in the Pacific Northwest. They do sometimes, but not, it's totally different. It's totally different. Yes, Mr. PF Flyer has a great point. To get an understanding of Minnesota, Wisconsin rust, 2010 vehicles can be too rusty to economically keep on the road. I just bought a 2015 Subaru that was from New York and had spent some time in that part of the world, and the brake lines were rusted out. And the underneath, like, I could put my finger through some holes. God damn. Anyway. Yep. Ross says, stars and pot of King of the Mountain. Like Jay, Fox Body 5.0s are awesome. Own several, including 2 ex-Washington State Patrol 5.0 coupes. My friend Bill had one. It was cool. It was cool. Craig Bully says, don't forget Phantasm. Never watched it, but I will eventually. Dan says, had the chop down early Barracuda from Fireball 500 beach blanket era movie parked next to me at a car show in 92. Living in Eugene back then. That's cool. Noah, I'll see you next week. Michael says, so long. Thanks for all the fish on your old shop window when you closed. Sold me on the channel. Nice. Your world's about to be destroyed. There's no sense getting all annoyed. We tried to warn you Something, something, something. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Dustin, let me know how cheap that is. Might need that. My sister's a goofball. There's a lot of stuff going on in the comments. I am going to have to just skip over because we really do have to go. Dan says, good night. All right, well, I guess that's it. It's mostly just Rooster and my sister. Oh, Dan did say that Fireball 500 Barracuda was from Eugene. Very cool. Dan is out. Good night, Dan. You have a good one. We'll see you next week. Lovejoy's out of here, as is Ross. Everybody's hitting it. It's just about that time. Rooster says, my buddy bought the smash blown 70 Charger from Fast and Furious. $60,000 for a fake movie car with a Chevy engine under the hood, with a fake blower run by a Moroso water pump motor. Wow. Oh, yeah, Scott dropped in just in time. Perfect. And my mother says, Guten Nacht, whatever. Cool. Thanks for being here, Michael, and everyone else. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. Go to deaddodgegarage.com, click on the merch button, buy merch, help me in my quest for global domination, and keep watching my junk. I'll keep making it, and I'll see you here next week. Same bat time, same bat place. See ya. Bye, Scott.